In the final part of the fraction series, we will learn how to carry out division of fractions. Similar to multiplication, there is only one method for division involving fractions, provided all the given numbers are written in the form of a by b, that is the fraction form. To understand division of a fraction by another fraction, we take example 5 by 7 divided by 1 by 3. This can also be written as 5 by 7 in the numerator divided by 1 by 3 as its denominator. To solve, we write the first fraction 5 by 7 as such. Now we have to do two things. First, we have to replace the sign of division with the sign of multiplication and write the second fraction, that is also known as the divisor, in its reciprocal form. So that will be 3 by 1. A fraction is said to be reciprocal of a given fraction if their product is 1. So we started with the fraction 1 by 3, and when we multiply this with the reciprocal that we have written as 3 by 1, 3 is going to cancel out 3 and the product is equal to 1. So we can say here that 3 by 1 is reciprocal for 1 by 3. Basically, we are switching the places of the numbers that are written in the numerator and the denominator. For example, if we wish to find out the reciprocal for fraction 5 by 2, we simply write 2 as the numerator and 5 as its denominator. So we switch the places of the numbers. Numerator becomes denominator and denominator becomes the numerator. Now when we multiply, 5 will cancel out 5 and 2 will cancel out 2. And this gives us the product of 1. So here we can say that 2 by 5 is reciprocal for 5 by 2 and vice versa. Coming back to 5 by 7 into 3 by 1. Based on what we learned in the last lesson, that was multiplication of fractions, we can solve this by finding the product of the numerators and dividing it with the product of the denominators. So this gives us 15 by 7. So this is how we divide a fraction by another fraction. In simple words, we can say that for dividing a fraction by another fraction, we have to multiply the first fraction by the reciprocal of the second fraction. Now imagine a situation where the numbers are not given in their fraction form. It can be a mixed fraction or a whole number. We take example 2 by 3 divided by 16. In such cases, we will have to convert these numbers into their fraction form, that is a by b form, and then carry out division. For mixed fraction, we convert this by writing it as improper fraction 8 by 3, and for whole number, we simply place 1 as its denominator. We place the sign of division and solve by replacing the sign of division with the sign of multiplication, and the divisor, that is 16 by 1 over here, has to be written in its reciprocal form. So this becomes 1 by 16. Rest we write as such 8 by 3 into 1 by 16. So here we can see that we are multiplying the first fraction with the reciprocal of the second fraction. When we solve this, we get 8 into 1 in the numerator and 3 into 16 in its denominator. 16 is divisible by 8, so crossing out 8 ones are 8, 8 twos are 16. This brings us to 1 by 6. So from these examples, we understood that for dividing fractions, there are simply two steps. In the first step, we have to make sure that all the given numbers are in their fraction form, and in case they are not in their fraction form, we have to convert them into a by b form. Second step is to multiply the first fraction with the reciprocal of the second fraction. So this is how we carry out division of fractions. Now we move on to the next topic, that is order of operations. We have covered the topic in detail in part 4 of the integer series. I would highly recommend you to watch that video. The link is given in the description. In simple words, order of operation means that in case there are multiple operators in a given expression, there is an order of preference for solving these operators. And this is given by the rule of BODMAS. As per the rule of BODMAS, if there are multiple kinds of operators in a given expression, we first look for brackets and solve them first. followed by of, that is a form of multiplication. Then we solve division, then we solve the multiplication problem, followed by addition, and then we solve the sign of subtraction. Brackets themselves can be of many kinds, and if we see multiple kinds of brackets used in the same expression, there is an order for solving the brackets as well. As per this order, we have to solve vinculum first, followed by parentheses that are also known as small brackets. Then we solve braces that are also known as curly brackets, and in case there are any square brackets, we solve them at the last. We understand this rule of BODMAS with an example over here. In this example, we see that at three places we have mixed fractions. So the first step would be to write these mixed fractions into their improper fraction form. That will be their a by b form. So let's rewrite this expression. 2 by 5 of, within brackets we write 10 by 3 minus 5 by 3, bracket closed, divided by 19 by 5. Now, as per the rule of BODMAS, we have to solve the brackets first. And we have a bracket over here, 10 by 3 minus 5 by 3. We get 5 by 3. We place this within brackets and write the rest of the expression as such. So 2 by 5 of 5 by 3 divided by 19 by 5. Now after brackets, we have to solve the off sign. So it is here. Now we rewrite and replace the sign of off with the multiplication sign. So we will be writing 2 by 5 into 5 by 3. We have removed the brackets. And then there is a sign of division. So this has to be replaced with the sign of multiplication followed by reciprocal of 19 by 5. That will be 5 by 19. When we solve this, we have to find the product of the numerators, 2 into 5 into 5, and divide it with the product of its denominators. So 5 into 3 into 19. 5 cancels out from the denominator and the numerator, and what is remaining is 10 by 57. So 10 by 57 is the answer for this expression. So here we learned that whenever we have multiple kinds of operators in a given expression, we have to solve them sequentially as per the BODMAS rule. So with this, we have come to the end of this lesson, that is division of fractions. So we learned how to divide fractions, and we also learned the use of BODMAS. Now let's solve some questions in order to have in-depth knowledge on this subject. Question number 1 says that the product of two numbers is 23 3 by 4. If one of the numbers is 6 11 by 14, then find the other. In this question, it says that 6 11 by 14, when multiplied with a number which is not given over here, so we take this number as x, gives us the product of 23 3 by 4. So here we have two mixed fractions, and when we convert them into improper fraction, we get 95 by 14 for the first one and 95 by 4 for the second one. We write rest of the equation as such. So 95 by 14 into x is equal to 95 by 4. Let's find x. X is equal to 95 by 4. And now we take this 95 by 14 from the left hand side to the right hand side of the equal to sign. And when it goes to the right hand side, the sign of multiplication gets replaced with the sign of division. So we write divided by 95 by 14. To solve this, we would be replacing the sign of division with the sign of multiplication. So x will be equal to 95 by 4, sign of division replaced with the sign of multiplication, and the divisor is written in its reciprocal form. So 14 by 95. 95 cancels out 95. 4 and 14 are divisible by 2. So 2 2s are 4 and 2 7s is equal to 14. So this gives us 7 by 2 as the answer. So we can say here that 6 11 by 14 when multiplied with 7 by 2 gives us the product of 23 3 by 4. Let us take one more example. Aditi has 4.5 cups of milk. To make a recipe, her friends require 3 by 4 cup of it. How many friends can make a recipe with 4.5 cups? In the question, it's given that total amount of milk is 4.5 cups. And for making the recipe, each time 3 by 4 cup is required. So if we divide 4.5 by 3 by 4, we will get to know how many friends can make the recipe with this much amount of milk. So to solve, we convert mixed fraction into improper fraction, which is 9 by 2 divided by 3 by 4. So we know for dividing fractions, we have to write the first fraction as such, that is 9 by 2. And then we have to multiply it with the reciprocal of the second fraction. So that will be 4 by 3. When we solve this, 2 ones are 2 and 2 twos are 4. Similarly, 3 ones are 3 and 3 threes are 9. So numerator and denominators have been cancelling each other here. We multiply and find the product of the numerators, 3 into 2, and divide it with the product of the denominators, that is 1 into 1. So this gives us 6 by 1, or this can be written as 6. So 6 friends of Aditi can make the recipe with 4.5 cup of milk. So with this, we have come to the point where we have understood division of fractions, and we also know the rule of BODMAS. Now we conclude this series on fractions since we have covered all the topics related to fractions. In this series, we have learned what are fractions. We also learned how to compare different kinds of fractions, and we covered topics of addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division of fractions. So we would meet again next time with some new lesson. Till then, take care.